What's happening, YouTube? Welcome back, Chupacabra Offroad. Today we're talking tires. We've got two of the best options for Southwest riders. ITP Ultracross R-Specs versus the BFG KR2 32-inch tire showdown.
Another Chupacabra sighting.
So when I purchased both sets of tires, I found the BFGs online at a big online retailer for $258 a piece, and the ITPs were about $170, $175 a piece. Fast forward to today, and the BFGs are now $319 from the same retailer, whereas ITPs are down to $155. One of the questions we have to answer, are the BFGs twice as good? They're almost double the price. So on paper, the ITP tires state they're 10 inches wide, and the BFGs say they're 9.5 inches wide. But in real life, that half inch on paper ends up being a big difference, as you'll see here in the results I'm about to reveal. So according to both the websites for ITP and for BF Goodrich, they both weigh in around 39, 39 and a half. And for the wheels, the KMCs are about 17.1, the Walker Evans are about 18. Seat of the pants, when it came to feeling the horsepower, acceleration, braking, I really didn't notice any difference. They're very evenly matched. So before I had these two tires, my experience started off way back in 2013 with a XP4 1000 and a 30-inch Canadi Mongrel tire. If you were in the sport back then, you know that the Mongrel was the tire to have. It was pretty much the first company to come to market with a really good option for a 30-inch size, built specifically for a UTV. They were lightweight, they held up pretty well, they wore okay, they slid very well, but I had some issues with sidewalls. I blew out 3 sidewalls in those tires and was also co-riding in a vehicle that also blew out a sidewall. So from the Mongrels, I went to the Pro Armor or the Moto Race Tire Crawler XGs. I tried these in a 30-inch tire and in a 32-inch tire, put about 1,000 miles on each of those. Really liked those tires. They were a little bit heavier. The 32 weighs in at about 42 pounds, but never really had to worry with any flat situations. I like those better than the Mongrels. The open tread pattern worked better in sand washes, and they held up better, so I was really impressed with those. I remember one time I was in Baja. We were doing a long day. It was about 160 miles from the coast of Arindara all the way up to Coyote Ranch, kind of in the middle of the Baja Peninsula. Last place you'd want to flat. And I remember just hitting a rock really hard, and I really couldn't believe that I didn't do something to the sidewall or flat the front tire. So was a fan of those tires even though they were heavy. So first off, I picked up the ITP Ultracross R-Specs. I put them on my 2018 Razor 4 Turbo. Took those out of my local backyard in Arizona out here. I like the ITPs. You could tell they felt a little bit lighter and a little bit quicker than the setup I was running before, which was a heavier wheel and a heavier tire combo. They felt pretty predictable when your car is sliding. You know, for me, I'm trying to get better as a driver. Let's say I'm four-wheel drifting fast around a sweeping turn. They felt predictable when they would break loose. They felt good. They felt confidence inspiring, I would say. They felt maybe a little more skatey, a little less grippy, I would say, because the tread isn't as deep as the crawlers. But they didn't feel out of control. So then I picked up the BFGs. The first thing I did was take it on a 300-mile ride down in Sonora, Mexico. This ride is really fun. It's really rare that it's a hard pack ride with no rocks, if there is such a thing. It's sandy, there's some high-speed stuff, there's some fun two-tack trails, there's some whoops, a lot of beach riding, very fun environment to ride in. Wasn't really the best test of the BFG's durability per se, but the grippiness and the traction and sand. I love how the tires worked out there. Noticeably right away I could feel the height feeling a little bit taller when you compare them side by side with the ITP Ultra Spec. We get to the beach on this ride in Mexico, I like to screw off and try to do a couple donuts, and one thing I noticed right away is that the tires really gripped and I felt really squirrely just trying to do some donuts. The tires hook up and want to give the car kind of that tippy feeling, which kind of a little unsettling compared. So I get the Razor back home from the Mexico ride, had a lot of fun. First thing I did was take the BFGs back here to my local environment, and one thing I also noticed right away is the extra cushion and the comfort. I couldn't tell as much in Mexico because it wasn't as rocky, but when you get back in a rockier, rougher environment, you can tell the tread pattern is just a little bit more comfortable than the ITP. It's not like the vehicle has more suspension travel. It just feels a little bit like, kind of like when you upgrade from regular seats to suspension seats. There's just a little bit more comfort there that I noticed. So I took the BFGs to Moab. Amazing traction. They worked unbelievable. I put them at 13 PSI. I definitely could have dropped down to 8 or 10. Was really impressed with how well they worked. Even with the narrower tread pattern, I didn't have hardly any slippage. Traction was amazing. I didn't tackle all the hardest obstacles, but hopefully next year, now that I've got a real ride under my belt, I'll go conquer the hot tub. So I tested the ITPs in Vegas. Outside of Las Vegas, there's a fun ride to Pioneer Saloon. Fast. There's some fast sweeping turns. There's a little bit of rutted turns. Tires work great. Like I said, coming off of the BFGs, you can tell they're predictable when they slide. I got to co-ride in a full-blown Best in the Desert race car, which was the Razor 1000 non-turbo class, and we had 32-inch BFG tires. I didn't feel any of that sensation in the wider vehicle. I also felt like there was almost any rock or rut or anything we could hit that was going to flat those tires. They just felt bulletproof. ITP Ultracross R-Spec Pros. The dollar to performance ratio is really, really high. Great working tire for the price. They're really predictable when you're sliding, four-wheel drifting, back-end braking loose. You kind of know what the vehicle's going to do once they lose traction. The wear is pretty reasonable. I'd say you're going to get in the Southwest Desert 1,500 to 2,000 miles, in my opinion. The cons are they're not as grippy as the BFGs, a little skatey, I would say, in comparison. They don't wear near as long, nor are they as comfortable on rocky, harsh terrain as the BF Goodrich tires. BFG Pros, exceptional grip anywhere. I mean, rocks of Moab, any other dry condition that I tested them in, they were amazing. They were very comfortable. The extra cushion feel of the tread was noticeable, and a little more comfortable when you're even going slow or fast just over really harsh rocks. A little extra height. I love when I'm in a really rough situation like Geyser Loop, Parker, Prim, and I'm not dragging or bottoming out the rear of the 4-seat Razor. 2 thumbs up on those. The big con for the BFGs I noticed was it gives a 64-inch wide side-by-side a tippy feel. These tires really excel for a 72-inch wide platform, like an XRS CanAm, Turbo S, or a Razor with a long travel kit. For my money, I'm going to go with the ITP Ultracross R-Spec. We've got a new race Razor build. Got to pay for a full set of tires as well as spares. The ITP is amazing. It's got a great track record in racing, a lot of results, a lot of wins for the ITPs as well. I think for the non-racer, the ITP is a great choice. Reasonable weight, not too reasonable weight. They wear well. Good traction, and when they do break loose, they let you know when they're going to break loose. Not as grippy as a BF Goodrich. Don't wear as long as a BF Goodrich, but we're talking essentially almost half the cost if you're looking to buy a new set today. Get the BFGs if you have a 72-inch wide vehicle, if you want amazing traction, comfort, and grip in almost any situation, and you really want that narrow, tall profile, which is ideal for deep ruts, racing type scenario. If you like this video, go ahead and comment below. Let me know if you've run one of these tires, if you like it, if you had similar experiences, if you didn't, or if there's another tire that you love and you'd like to talk about you think needs to be compared. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we've got more great content coming your way.
Another Chupacabra sighting.
I've never run across anything like this.
Do you believe in the Chupacabra?